to the final episode of Half an Hour Season 5. This is 50th episode of this entire series, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome Prince Rama Varma ji. He is a direct descendant of Maharaja Swati Tirunal, and today I'm going to interview him not about his lineage, why he took to classical music. There's enough recorded evidence of that. Today we are going to focus on the person Rama Varma ji and what he has done for music, what music is done for him, and how we are going to expand Carnatic music through his lens and through his experiences. Welcome to the show, Rama Varma ji. My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Varma ji, my first question is, you have been a disciple of multiple gurus, right from your first, you learned from the great Sri Semangudi Srinivasa Iyer's School of Music, then from Sri Balamurli Krishna ji, then from Sri T.V. Gopala Krishnan ji. When you learn from different people, how do you make sure that your style still comes out and you don't have a conflict in what you have learned from different people, and they don't have a problem that one person's school of music is not reflected in the performance? How do you handle that?
I was just very fortunate, not only with the gurus I got, but with the sequence of gurus also. Suppose I had met Balamurli Krishna sir first, it would have been a different story altogether. So my first and premier guru was Professor Vechur Harihara Subramaniar sir, who was Shamangudi disciple. And he was this very solid, authentic kind of guru, not adventurous, but it is like he would sing Shankarabharanam, Kalyani, Todi, Bhairavi, all the typical standard ragas, and have a very, very respectable amount of compositions by Sri Tyagaraja, Sri Dikshitar, Shyama Shastri, Maharaja Swaditranal, Patna Subramaniar. The typical, that's it. So if you ask him about maybe Narayana Tirthar, he might not know much. So he was this typical, but that is the most basic, essential foundation, our Atatala Varnams and the big ragas like Kalyani, Shankarabharanam, Todi, Bhairavi. So we can do Revati or some other lesser known raga or a modern raga also. But this is the core of our South Indian classical Carnatic music, and he was like pure gold with no frills. It was just this block of gold. And I was with him till literally the day before he passed away. So many people wrongly feel that I did basic lessons from him and advanced lessons from somebody else. No, I did advanced lessons from him also. I had given so many concerts when he was still alive. And the reason our lessons ended was only his demise. Suppose he was alive now, even now I'd be learning from him. He was this. He had everything I wanted in a guru, as a person, the ability to teach, the patience, the kindness, so much he had. So everything else I got was built on the foundation that Vechur Harihara Subramaniar sir had installed in me. Then came my Vina gurus. So Vina gurus, first Trivandrum R. Venkatraman. So I had learnt singing, and I had started giving kind of small concerts here and there without knowing an instrument. And having learnt vocal music for 4 or 5 years and then learning an instrument was really one revelation. Then I realized why vocalists would say about instrumentalists who don't know any sahityam, they just play the tune. So Brova Bharam, so the vocalists would say, they are just playing the swaram, they don't know the sahityam. While the instrumentalists will say, he's just a vocalist, he doesn't have swaratana, he doesn't have the grip over the subtle gamakams and all. So both aspects I could understand when I learnt vocal music and instrumental music. Both are equally important. We might choose to sing or we might choose to play an instrument, but whichever we do in public, but both are absolutely essential to be a complete musician. In North Indian system, they say you need to learn tabla also, one percussion instrument also. So melody instrument, percussion instrument and singing, then we become really very solid. So Veena Venkatraman sir was the first to open my eyes and ears to the subtleties of our gamakams by introducing me to Veena playing and getting me ready to go one step or 100 steps higher and be with his guru, Professor K.S. Narayanaswamy, who was like one universe. I mean, he's like so understated. You just see this much, but he just goes on and on and on. Literally like a universe. And that happened on one side when I joined Dr. Mangalampalli Balamuralikrishna sir, who is another. But in his case, it's more well known about his abilities and his range. And he used to
Right.
sing and play violin and play mridangam and play viola and play ganjira and compose and lyrics himself and compositions and tune lyrics of other people. I mean, that whole range of stuff he's done is at least well known. Unlike K.S. Narasamy, whom people don't know how much he was. So each person at that stage in my life, they were the perfect guru, because Vechur sir was so disciplined that he inculcated the very great amount of self-discipline in me, while Balamurali Krishna was all about freedom. So I would ask some phrases, sir, is it like this or is it like this? He would just think for 1 minute, either way, it's okay. If you like, you can sing like this. So he was kind of non-committal also. But then I never abused the freedom he gave me because of what Vechur sir had instilled in me. Even when I used to live abroad and sing exclusively before Europeans, as at that time no recording, no internet, no video, nothing. So I was in a position where I could have just kind of done something. But I owe it to myself, and I owe it to the art and to my guru and for the composer and to God or whatever. So that set of values was so strongly instilled in me by Vechur Harir Subramanian sir that even now in life I follow his path maximum.
Wow. So it just flows from music into rest of your life as well. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely.
That's
See, he
great.
was, for example, I'll give you just one small example.
Sure.
Vechur Harir Subramanian sir, he had around 4 concerts per year. That's it. So can you imagine an accomplished musician sitting at home for 360 days? No? But he was he never felt bitter or when he saw some other people who had much less merit than him get more concerts because they either sang for films or sucked up to powerful people or whatever. So once in 1982, 83, television started in Thiruvananthapuram. It was during the Asian Games at that time, Asiad. So television was the unimaginable thing that you can actually see somebody for people like me from a small village like Thiruvananthapuram at that time. So many musicians from Trivandrum who were much, much, much junior to Vechur sir had already performed on television. And it's like, that was like the thing to do. And he never sang. Then one of my relatives who was very well connected, he said, your guru has sung on television. I said, no, just give me a letter. I'll see to it that he sings. He just said it as a friendly thing. Then I told Vechur sir, this gentleman, he said, if you just give a letter, he'll organize your concert in. Thank you very much. Then 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then I met the same relative again. Again, he said, hey, what about your guru? I had told you, no? I said, yeah, I told him, but I'll tell him again. So after 4 months, I tell him again, sir, I met this relative again and again. He said, he would like to see you on television. Can you just give a letter? So very quietly, he says, he was at that time 63, 64 years old, I presume. So he said, until now, whatever I have done has come to me automatically. I have never had to write a letter to get something. So I hope I'll never need to write a letter. If I do, then I really thank your relative for the kind offer. And he didn't write. Then just before he died, he came on TV, and that I have uploaded on YouTube also. He was very uncomfortable. They put powder and lipstick, and it was an air-conditioned studio. So he was very scared of air conditioning, that it will choke him up, and he would always wear a white shirt and be very simple. So that whole studio atmosphere, he just hated completely. And he said, it's coming on TV, don't watch that. But so when he says don't watch, I couldn't disobey him, but I obviously wanted to watch him. And I got my father to watch and video record the concert, which is why it exists now. So that I follow that people who interact with me, whether it's a taxi driver or a waiter in a restaurant or my students or Kuti Papas or the parents of my students or accompanies, nobody finds me arrogant. But people who expect me to go and stand like this or to apply gravel at their feet and put an application and whatever, they find me very arrogant because I don't do that. which is something I kind of imbibed from Vechur sir. He never advised me anything, but by example, I've seen him do that. I'll
Right.
give you one more example.
Sure.
Since I rarely get a chance to speak about Vechur
Please,
sir,
please, please, please.
the personality. So once, in fact, that is coming now in Guruvayur. They have this Chembai festival for Guruvayur Ekadashi, which is now a very, very big festival, and it comes online and on TV and on. So at that time, when probably when Chembai was still alive, I presume, in 1950s, 60s, yeah, definitely when Chembai was alive, there was a small festival, and some musicians used to go there, and the big musicians also used to come because of Chembai's and Guruvayurappan's presence. At that time, Vechur sir was around 19, 20 years old, probably less than 20. And people sing one song or 20 minutes or 10 minutes like that. So he had sat down, and just as he was starting to sing one very, very, very big name, whom I can't say on record. So off record, I'll tell you secretly. But at that time, he was like one of the biggest names in the field. He came, and Vechur sir had just started singing, and he was only 18, 19 years old. So this man would never go alone. He will have like 5 people behind him. So they came and said, "Hey, get up, go. This man has come." So he had started singing, and they kind of physically just pushed him off. And he felt so humiliated, so sad, so angry altogether. So he just went away. And then this guy played violin solo. And then several things happened. And at night, everything had finished. People had, all the Pakamelams had gone home, and there was just the sound guy. Then Vechur sir came alone and said, "Can I just sing a song for Guru Arapa?" At that time, it was 10:30 or something at night. So he sat there and he started singing only Shruti, no violin, mridangam. And this big violinist was in a lodge just next to the temple, and they keep speakers all around the place. So Vechur sir started singing, and this guy had gone to bed, and he heard this boy singing, and he's singing so nicely. He got out of bed and came to see who was singing like this, and he found the same boy who was shooed away. So when Vechur sir saw this man come, he was like really, he didn't know what to do, but he continued singing and he stopped. So when he finished, this man just hugged him and said, "Oh, you sing so well, and I really like you, and this is amazing. I am like the most popular guy in the whole of South India. You join me, I'll play for you and ensure that you are popular all over India. Because when I hear you sing like this, I want to play with you." Then Vechur sir said, "Yeah, but I don't want to sing with you." End of story. So at that age,
Yeah.
so he was very clear, but I don't feel like singing with you. So I mean, he didn't use the obscene word or obscene gesture with the finger, but very quietly, the message was very, very clear.
Loud and clear. Super.
So he is the man whom I spent my Sarigama to 14 years with. So automatically something of that, and I have seen the price he paid for that also. So many deserving venues he didn't get, but he was fine. He never felt bitter that, "Oh, see, I'm singing well, but nobody is calling."
No FOMO, as they call it now. No fear of missing out. No FOMO.
Fear of missing out. Oh yeah, I heard that expression for the first time 4 days ago.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
sent me a message. I said, "What is FOMO?" A fear of missing out. I said, "Oh, I think I should add this in my repertoire." And thank you for reminding me. I'll show this video to the person who sent me that message. See, FOMO came second time.
Super. And you were talking about people who are, the accompanying artists. So one thing which I have noticed while going through all your videos, your renditions, concerts, etc., is that it's almost you have a constant set of people accompanying you. Like, we have Vinuji, we have Harikumarji, we have
Harikumar,
Dr.
Karthik,
Karthikji,
yeah.
the
So
gentleman and the tambura. The joy that we saw, especially Tilana video that I have seen, you singing Sri Balamunda Krishna's Tilana, it was so beautiful. I have listened to it on loop, and I go through every comment. You are one of the few people's whose videos I see all the comments, because I know for a fact nobody has one thing negative to say there.
it's actually a
The
great
love
blessing,
expressions
actually.
that people have, the divinity, the joy, it's so pure. So what are the benefits of traveling with one group for long periods of time? Of course, rehearsals may take shorter. Is there something more this, like they say, whole is more than sum of parts? What is the benefit that one gets by traveling with one group, sir?
See, if you look at Western pop group, like the Beatles, for example, they are together all the time. While in our case, we are not together at all. See, I might have, now in December, of course, in Madras, we might have a bunch of concerts, but my average would be around one concert a month or two concerts a month maximum, usually. Unless it's some Ramanavami or Savitrinal birthday or Temple Utsavam season or Margadi in Chennai, except bunches of concerts like that. Average normally would be one or two concerts a month. I live in Bangalore. Vinu lives in Tiruvananthapuram. Harikumar lives in Trichy, and Ghatam Karthik lives in Madras. So we have absolutely no contact, and we are completely different as human beings. The food we eat, our daily routine, our values in life, the way everything is different. But somehow when it comes to music, the understanding, the mutual understanding between all 4 or 5 of us is just extraordinary. It just happened from the first time. Harikumar, I still remember, Harikumar, Vinu, Karthik, first time they played with me, I was like, wow, I want to sing again and again with this man. That with each of them, I'm speaking of myself only, they play with so many different artists that they might have different experiences. So I found this absolute understanding, and we have so much mutual understanding and respect, and we enjoy each other's playing, that nobody feels compelled to show something extra, to show, say, I did this much and he did this much. That is never happening. We are all not 25%, we are all 100%. So one example, for example, Ghatam Karthik is a expert at saying Konnakol. So Konnakol, just verbal, so to say like that, it is a killer weapon of Indian classical music, whether it's Hindustani or Carnatic especially. So many people might feel insecure. We sing we take so much trouble and effort and energy, and we sing something and somebody says Konnakol for 2 minutes and they steal the thunder. So if we feel insecure, we would never allow somebody to say Konnakol. But I love Konnakol myself. So when Ghatam Karthik is saying Konnakol, means I am the number one Konnakol fan myself. So I don't feel, will he get more applause than me? That is never there. And we are all secure in ourselves. When we are insecure only, we become dominating and whatever. So we are completely secure. Speaking for myself, I have spent around nearly 10 years outside India. Not the whole time, but I would go for 4 months, 6 months like that. So 2 years in Paris, 2 years in London, and around 7 years in Amsterdam, where I have given many concerts with no accompaniments at all. So just Shruti, no mic. So duration will be less. It will be 1 hour, 1.5 hours like that. So the same place where they have called me once, they have called me again and again and again, which gave me the kind of confidence that there must be something in me that they are calling me again and again. So even if I don't have any accompaniment, I feel I have something to offer. That suppose I have nothing to offer, then I need top accompanists just to carry me through.
Right.
So but that kind of confidence gives us a kind of calmness, which some people feel, oh, he's so calm, he must be so humble. I'm not really humble. I'm not arrogant either. I'm just aware that, okay, this is good. Suppose I'm aware of Ghatam Karthik's Konnakol, I'm obviously aware of Vinu's violin and Harikumar singing and my own singing also. So it's just one fact. Suppose I have one idli in front of me, whether you say or I say, an idli is an idli. That's all. Right. So like that. So in singing, I have something, and the thought process, especially that, particularly for Vinu, if we sing something and the violinist plays something else, it is like you are asking me a question and I am talking about something else. There won't be a continuity. So Vinu's specialty is that M.S. Gopalakrishnan had that in violin. So M.S. Gopalakrishnan, whether he played for Balamurali Krishna, who was very flamboyant, or M.D. Ramanathan, who was very inward looking, when he played his solo also, he would just continue. V.V. Subramaniam also is another person. They just continue the thought process of the musicians. It's like we don't feel this guy has sung and that guy has played violin. There's one thread which continues.
Orchestra in the true spirit.
In the true spirit. So that very few, percussionists, many people have that. But violinists, many of them, they'll kind of put their own stamp, and there's nothing wrong if you're playing solo or something like that. Right. But while playing accompaniment, apart from being competent enough to repeat what the singer sings spontaneously, that many people have. Nowadays, younger people are so competent that we sing one very complicated mathematical thing or fast phrase or pallavi. But there are so many who can just take it and repeat it back. But this kind of temptation to overtake or trip or just be an asshole generally, that to not have that and just be happy that and secure that the other guy is not trying to screw you. We are all trying to make each other shine. So it just goes up like that. That mindset is very precious. So I kind of...
It shows, Varmaji. It really, really shows when we see your videos. That camaraderie is absolutely brilliant. And coming to the actual concert itself, Varmaji, one thing that I have noticed, I'm talking as a normal, common Carnatic music rasika, right? So after the first one or two songs, when you get to the long rendition, you have the alapana, then you have the song, and then you have the Kalpana Swaram, then you have the Taniya Vardhanam, all packed in one song, like a 45-minute or 1 hour out of a 3 hours goes into one. Is there some reason for it, or is it something that can be split across a couple of songs, or maybe 3 songs where
Yeah.
you have one and one another? So people also don't tune out, sorry to say, but split it 40, and it's very disheartening sometimes to see when the Taniya Vardhanam starts, people go out to the counter, right? So is there anything that can be done, or is there a rationale for the way it is?
And actually, this is my own thing. Actually, the current concert format was evolved largely by Ariyakudi Ramananja Iyengar in combination with Palgad Mani Iyer. So what happened was that before that it was all long alapana and whatever. So Ariyakudi cut Manodharmam a lot and cut slow speed completely. So he would sing everything at a madhyama kala or average speed or little faster than average. They call it Randangatta kala, that little neither too fast nor medium, little above medium. And packed number of compositions. He would sing one Varnam, one song on Ganesha, maybe one Pacharatnam. Then what they call a sub-main. Sub-main, which has Alapana, the Raval Swaram and whatever, the small main. Then one or two songs, then the main. Which will have Alapana, the Raval Swaram, Taniyavarthan and everything. Then one more song, then Ragantanam Pallavi. And after Ragantanam Pallavi, Padam, Javali, Tilana, Bhajan, Tirupavai, Tirupugai, all that. So this format he made, which was completely revolutionary and different at that time. Then everyone followed that, not thinking of the fact that at Ariyakudi's time, concerts would be 3 hours long, 4 hours long, 5 hours long. So then people blindly followed this format, by which even for half an hour television recording, they'll have one Varnam, then Ganapati song, one sub, and then main and what. So I found that the Manodharma is Alapana and Swaram, is just getting crushed a lot. So rather than sing kind of bonsai alapanas for 5 pieces, I just take one main piece for alapana, and there I sing, even if it's a 1 hour concert. There is this feeling of abundance, and we feel relaxed, not under pressure for time. So I sing a Balamurli Tilana, for example, where you have to be very fast and very clear also. So in some songs like Deva Deva Kalami or Lalita Panchamam, Paramapurusham, there are some songs, or Amritavashni Sudhama, there are so many songs like that, which I sing little fast, just to show that I can sing like that also. But I don't feel compelled to show. There was a Malayalam actor earlier, 1970s, who had big biceps at that time. So generally Malayalis, we have big stomach and the typical Malayali look. So because this man had big biceps, that was a rage at that time. So even if there's a scene of him taking a glass of water, he would flex his biceps and take the water. Anything he had to show, like, so he's caricatured often, even now, long after his time. So similarly, I have practiced so much to reach a stage where I can sing really fast one, or really go up and down also one. But I don't feel compelled to keep going up and down, or to keep singing fast at every minute to show I can sing fast, I can sing fast, I can. So when it is necessary, it is enough. Sometimes if you have chocolate cake also, sometimes one brownie without any icing, without any cream, tastes so good without all the other things. So
Perfect. And you spoke about Tilanas and Tukudas, right? So I'm sure this came about the same time as well. Sometimes it goes a little afar, in my opinion, where people start to include a film song also into concerts. Is there a thin line or a proper bordered line saying this is what a classical Carnatic concert has to have?
Now it's a kind of free for all. So because it's a free for all only, I said the self-discipline that Vechur sir instilled in me largely takes hold even now. See, I sing at home, sitting in this room. I have sung funny songs of Kishore Kumar also and Mohammed Rafi. But for my Carnatic concerts, I usually don't. Maybe tomorrow I will, I don't know. Till now, I have sung Bhajan in Desh, which is sung by Kundan Lal Saigal. So actually, it's a film song from Bhakt
Right.
Suradas film. But if I just sing it just like that, nobody will know it's a film. It's like a bhajan in Desh. That's all. So I personally have absolutely nothing against film songs, since I like film songs a lot myself. But I personally don't sing film songs for my. In fact, there are some people who don't even sing Carnatic songs which have come in films. I mean, Shankarabharanam film, Broche Varavarura and Samaja Varaganam came. So some very classical musicians, after it came in Shankarabharanam film, they were like, oh, people will feel I am singing a film song. So that, I think it's a matter of personal choice. I mean, people sing abhangs now, so which were not there earlier. There are some people who are so strict that they feel we should not even sing Hindustani ragas like Bihag or Sindhu Bhairavi or whatever. We should sing only Chanchurati and Usaini and Kurinji and Yadugula Kamboji. So that is, it's each person to their own, really.
Right, right. And over a course of time, you started giving performances from 90, and then apart from being a performer, you were a curator for your annual festivals, and you're also big into teaching. And how much has social media helped in your reach within abroad? You've lived abroad, you've performed abroad, but your student profile also includes people abroad. How much has technology helped you as a teacher for you over the last few decades,
Oh,
Varmaji?
I mean, I owe like 96% of my whatever is happening now to YouTube, actually. Because all this happened when I lived in Amsterdam or Paris, or all that was before YouTube, and some of it was before internet. I mean, maybe internet was invented, but I was not aware of that. So since I have this virtuoso quality of not asking or applying for anything, and somebody calls me, I accept, that's all. So, but the power centers are mostly with people who expect us to go and ask them or request them or whatever. So I was in the same. That is why I went abroad, actually, because sitting in India I had nothing to do. I'm
Right.
talking about 2000, 1996, 97, 98 at that time. I also had 3 concerts a year. One, and I can tell you specifically also, Swadhitrunal Jayanti in Swadhitrunal Sangeeta Sabha Trivandrum, I will have one concert. In Navaratri Mandapam, I didn't have All India Radio grade at that time. So Navaratri Mandapam, I would rent the Mandapam and sing a private concert in the morning. So that was second concert. Then third concert in December, Madras, Dr. T.V. Gopalakrishnan, TVG sir, to whom I owe my life, actually. So he was the one who made me sing for the first time in public, against the wishes of my family and against my own wishes. I liked music, I studied music, but I never wanted to display it or sing in public or anything. So in TVG sir has this Academy of Indian Music and Arts, AIMA. So in TVG sir's AIMA, I used to sing a third concert. Then we had a friend, a family friend from Switzerland, who used to visit India during winter, because she felt Switzerland was too cold. So every October she would come, and October, November, December she would stay and go back. So when she would come, I would give a private concert at home. So these 4 concerts were fixed every year. Other than that, maybe some temple somewhere, maybe some sabha, I'll have 1 or 2 concerts. That was my schedule at that time. So it was only after YouTube came, and YouTube videos started getting viewed in America much more earlier than in India, in 2007, 8, 9
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
I also had only a dial-up connection, no broadband. So then I would started getting mails saying, this Sita Kalyana Vaibhavam was very nice or whatever. So who is this? I could not imagine that a complete stranger would actually like my music and find out my email ID and write to me. It was a new experience, as recent as 2010. So you can imagine. So that was after YouTube came. Then I never taught online. I never taught online until the pandemic started. So it is so recent, 2020, 21, that I started teaching online. I like the direct interaction, and suppose somebody sang well, suddenly I could give a gift or a chocolate or something like that. So that I always felt online that connection wouldn't be there, which was a very big mistake, because now I teach online maybe once a month or once in 2 months sometimes. But some of those people who attend my classes regularly from America, from Australia, from Singapore, from Hyderabad, from different locations, some of them have become so dear presences in my life that we forgot that we have some of them I haven't even met in real life, even now. So I've met only online, but they are like somebody who is sitting here, like a part of my life. So that has helped a lot. Technology, even with Vinu, for example, if I'm singing TVG Sir Ratipati Priyatillana, which is very tough. Earlier, I would have to call and sing over the phone, STD call
Okay.
from wherever I
Okay.
am. So now it's like you can just record and send a WhatsApp audio. So the costs have gone down from that point of view. And when I teach online, what happens is that just now one session finished. So we form a WhatsApp group with only the students who participated in that session. Then students have an option to record and send me their recordings, which I listen to. And normally, once I teach and we log off, my responsibility is over. They get the video of the full session permanently.
Okay.
So then they can watch that again and again and again. So it's really not my responsibility, but there are some people who are very promising. There might be one or two small mistakes. Then I'll sit and listen to everything and record and correct them and send it back and whatever. And some of them upload on YouTube also. So all this is something I couldn't imagine even 10 years ago. So that way technology has been very, and earlier if I want to recommend a concept, I am teaching Riti Gaula, Paripalaya, 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 Raghunatha. And I'm telling my students, oh, you should listen to M.D. Ramanathan sing this. Then nobody has that. So I will have to make a copy of my audio cassette of M.D. Ramanathan singing it and give it to them. They'll listen to it one by one. Now I can just send them a YouTube link and they can immediately, the material is available. But it's up to the students to make use of Pudukot Krishnamurti or Ramnath Krishnan or Volati Venkateswarlu. There are so many great musicians' recordings which are just lying there. It is up to them to do that. And also about the classes also, there are one very important thing in which keeps classical music apart from other forms of music. I don't like using the word superior and inferior, but one weapon we have when we are trained classically, correctly, Hindustani or Carnatic or even Western, is we hear any sound, we should identify the notes. So suppose somebody says apple, what is it? We don't have to think apple, A, P, no, we say APPLE immediately without thinking,
Correct.
So like that, Gama pa nisa, nisa nida pa ma gama ga. Immediately we have to tell. So that the way I teach, this ability is very strongly focused on. So there's one small girl, you can search on YouTube also, Sing, Listen, Repeat with Hansini. That's her channel.
Okay.
So Hansini I have a Blue Yeti mic here. So she's around this big, same size as a mic. So when she started attending my classes, she would sing very softly but very clearly, but could not identify the swarams. But just attending this way of teaching again and again and again, she never misses one single session. And I am stunned by, she must be 9 or 10 years old now. So when I was 9 or 10 years old, I didn't even know that the first note was called Sa. But the small kid, any ornamentation, any fast phrase, twisted phrase, whatever we sing, instantly she tells the swarams almost 100% correctly. So that is for me it was stunning to see somebody do that. Then I realized that people who attend my classes regularly, it is happening to them. So there is one set of people whom suppose I teach Vatapi, for example. Oh, I know Vatapi already. So I didn't register for this class. I didn't miss anything because I know Vatapi already. But it is not Vatapi only that they learn. Suppose there are 50 students or 60 students. One will be a wheelchair-bound mommy who is above 80 years old. One will be a 4-year-old child. One will be one other mommy who used to sing as a young girl, but after marriage and kids, she has given up. Now she wants to come back. There are so many different levels from no music knowledge to ex-performer who's not sung for 20 years and very small children. And so the same me, in your presence, I am teaching the same phrase to a 4-year-old kid and a 16-year-old girl and a bright 25-year-old person, and this superannuated senior citizen, somebody, so each person, how I am teaching that phrase and making eliciting the best from them, that whole process is a learning experience, and how to teach, and how to, because we don't have the same rule for everybody, to bring out the best from each person. So there are some very smart people who, suppose I have a teaching session this Saturday and Sunday, and they have a function at home or whatever, they can't attend, they'll still register because they'll get the video. Then they'll sit and watch, not just the learning the song, but see how I teach each person, that whole process. That is, I have more and more people who realize the value. There are very few people, very few things I feel good about in myself. We all know some things about ourselves. This is bad, this is good, and so one of the few things I feel is that I can teach well. So not only Carnatic, just teaching is, because I learned French in 1986-87.
Okay.
Just one basic course. So we have at that time certificate, just the basic course. Then I was my guru passed away. I went to Madras. I joined Balamurali sir, and then I could never continue French. But I had around 6 of my friends register for French course in the Alliance Française in Trivandrum,
Right.
and I would help them with only this what I learned. But all of them got above 90 in 100. So then I realized somehow it's coming naturally, and they're like, oh yeah, and there are different kinds of people, different age groups and whatever.
Right.
So that is a blessing which I am happy to share, whoever is interested to learn and whatever. And I received so much from my gurus, each of them in a different way, maximum from Vachur sir. There is no doubt about that. Because when I was, I think, 15, 16 years old, and I had started singing Manodharma Swaram, I'll just wait for him to come Saturday and Sunday, only Saturday and Sunday class. Seeing my eagerness, he started class on Wednesday also. So then, again, it was not enough, and he loved teaching me also. So he made Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So 4 days a week I had music class, and there's no plans, even in my dreams, that one day I'll sing in public. But he could see this interest. So for say many children, when they reach 10th standard or something, they'll cut dance classes, music classes, all this will be cut. In my case, I did SSLC in Kerala, 10th standard. The exams would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I had music class on Tuesday. I had music class on Saturday, Sunday during SSLC. And most importantly, the day 10th standard exam finished, at that time, many James Bond films had come starring Roger Moore, and after a big gap, Sean Connery had come again as James Bond for the last time in a movie called Never Say Never Again. So Never Say Never Again had opened in Trivandrum on that day, and every single friend of mine went for that movie after SSLC exam, but I came home and had music class. And that's the first time I saw Vachur sir shed tears. He says, I've been teaching for, at that time he was teaching 55 years. I've never had a student who had class during SSLC, and the day after the exam finished also he came and had music class instead of. So then what happened was that, as I said, I had absolutely no intention of singing in public, but his son got a job in Palakkad while he was in Thiruvananthapuram. So when his son got a job in Palakkad, son said, called Vachur sir and said, you also come to Palakkad, we'll give the Trivandrum house for rent. Because then Vachur sir said, suppose I leave Trivandrum, then what will my disciples do? So he said, you will get many disciples. Palakkad had Chembai College and all that. So then he took my name and said, if I leave Trivandrum, what will this boy do? So for my sake, he stayed back in Trivandrum when I was not giving a concert. I was just doing Varnam and some Manodharma Swaram. So then whatever nice thing I do for my students, it is nothing compared to what my gurus have done for me, particularly Vachur sir. No, that mutual connection is not like I love him or he loved me. Many times we find some gurus who cherish their students, and students, they just walk away. And there are some students who are like slaves to their gurus, and gurus don't care or they just trample on them. So both happen a lot, unfortunately.
Right.
So this mutual kind of like cherishing what we share till the last moment, that I can never forget. It's like.
Thank you for sharing these, Varmaji. I'm sure these are things that is normally out there. for people to hear these kind of stories.
Yeah,
So beautiful and
yeah, he's a,
definitely worth cherishing all the time. Amazing. And the only thing common between you and me is that I also went to Shri TVG school for a couple of years when I was in primary school, and we did a mini concert in Kamaraj Arangam, if I'm not mistaken, just to encourage students to continue learning and stuff.
you did Mridangam or?
I learned Mridangam from him.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, TVG sir, I've never been his shishya, but the position he has, my gurus or my parents, nobody has. I always tell there is Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. So for me, it's Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam, TVG.
Wow,
No?
wow.
Because he
Beautiful.
just pulled me out of a setup, a matrilineal family setup where the men are supposed to set up and not
Right.
do anything. So my grandfather, if you land in the Thiruvananthapuram airport, when you land and you enter the building, you will find two photos. One is of the last Maharaja of Travancore, Sri Chitra Tirunal Balarama Varma. The other person is Colonel G.V. Raja, who is my mother's father, my direct grandfather,
Okay.
who was so almost solely responsible for Thiruvananthapuram airport becoming what it is now. He discovered Kovalam Beach Resort. The most famous tourist attraction in
Right.
Trivandrum is Kovalam.
Right. Right.
He found the location and constructed the Kovalam Hotel under his guidance. There's a stadium called G.V. Raja Stadium in Trivandrum. So he was like I am about music. He was all about sports and tourism. But
Okay.
in the general society there, connected with my family, his name is hardly mentioned. So he died when I was 1 year old or something. But later, his wife, who's my grandmother, when she was angry with me, she used to curse me by saying, "Oh, you're exactly like your grandfather." So, and whatever I know about him, he's like one big hero of mine. Not because he's my grandfather, like I told you about Vechur sir, who refused to write a letter or whatever. Not because he's my guru. If I hear that X or Y, one guy did like that, I'll feel, oh wow, I respect that. So my grandfather was a person like that. So much I heard about him from other people, from
Right. Right.
not from the inner circle. I would go to a friend's house in Trivandrum, and when I was in school or college, and somebody would say, "Oh, he's from this family. So, are you related to Chitra Tirunal Maharaja?" Yes. How? He's my mother's brother. Oh, wow! Like then somebody would say, "So, are you related to Colonel G.V. Raja?" Then I would say, "Yes, he's my grandfather." And these people just break down and cry. It's like Colonel G.V. Raja's grandson is here. And they love him like anything. So I was like, wow. And I didn't know the man because he died when I was 1 year old. So I would be stunned seeing these reactions. And I was 13, 14 years old at that time. So the more and more people who interacted with him, I asked them their stories. There's a boy who was the ball boy in Trivandrum Tennis Club. So my grandfather would have this big Cadillac with the royal emblem on it and whatever. So after the game is over, every day he would play tennis or golf every single day.
Yeah.
Then he would tell the boy, "So now how will you go back?" "I'll take a bus and go." "Come, I'll drop you." So he, in this big Cadillac car, he would get this 14, 15-year-old ball boy, take him and drop him home. And he never felt it was a big deal. He was a colonel, and I think India, Pakistan, India, China, Bangladesh won war. He went and saw the injured army men, Jawans, in their camp because he was a colonel. And he saw so many of them with a leg blown off, arm
Yeah.
blown off, eye blown off. Some of them are 18, 19, 20 young men. They are sacrificing their life and limb to serve our country and whatever. And they were sleeping on beds which had just this cot, no sheet, no mattress, just a wooden cot. Then he felt these young men are in this condition, then who am I to sleep on this big Dunlop mattress or whatever? From that day, he chucked his mattress until he died. He slept on a wooden cot with nothing, with nobody except his wife and the people who cleaned the room knew. There was no publicity. He felt that empathy was there. Or at that time, he was the head of Indian Sports Council. And in Olympics, for hockey, finals would be India, Pakistan. Always, always, always. So when the athletes would train, he would physically run with them. He was a sportsman himself. Now you should see the Olympic Committee Indian contingent. There are people who have bigger stomach than I have. There are 5,000 of them. They just take their own selfie videos and just walk around. And free of cost, they see whichever country, Paris or Rio or
Absolutely.
whichever. And when we get one gold medal, we are like, oh, we got one gold medal. I mean, our public, the wealth we have in the form of our population.
Right.
When somebody gets a gold medal, they are showered with 2 crores, 25 lakhs, 5
Right.
lakhs,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
But instead of investing in creating champions, no, that maybe in shooting or in badminton, a few things.
Right.
So I sometimes miss my grandfather. Of course, he would have been 100 years old if he was alive now. But I feel if he was alive a little longer, I think something more he would have done for the sports and the country. Even Ramanathan Krishnan, tennis
Yeah.
legend. There are so many people who are, and many people who knew him and his worth, they are no longer alive. So there's nobody to keep the memory alive or
Right.
to show the rest of the world what
So
a
what you
man
want,
this
yeah.
was. No.
Wow.
Yeah, so if I say means naturally he is praising his own grandfather, people will feel like that. It is not like that. Even Vichur said, I'm not praising him because he is my guru. So
These are people absolutely worthy of celebrating.
I'm saying, yeah.
Truly, truly. One last question I want to leave you with, Varmaji, is how do you expand the horizon of Carnatic music? It's always viewed as something which is elitist, it's viewed as something behind a veil. I'm not sure where it stems from. Is it a question of not having access to appreciate music? Forget learning music, but appreciating music itself. And you have broken a few barriers, like getting a woman vocalist perform at the Mantapam, breaking a 300-year tradition,
Yeah.
and then getting women to attend the concerts as well. So you have done your bit, but what more can be done, or are you seeing change already in that space?
In my view, the number one reason is the language barrier. So suppose I sing a Telugu song and the listeners don't know Telugu, they won't understand what it is. They'll just enjoy the music. That's all. So what I do as a South Indian, I know Malayalam, but most of our songs are maximum in Sanskritam, Telugu,
Telugu.
Kannada, Tamil,
Yeah.
maximum, more than Malayalam. There are Malayali composers like T.V. Gopalakrishnan sir or M.D. Ramanathan. There are even Swadhitrindal. There are so many people, they have composed maximum in Sanskritam or Tamil and Telugu, more than Malayalam. So I take the trouble to learn, which is not a fait accompli, it is still going on. I am in the process of taking the trouble to learn the word by word meaning of whatever I sing in whichever language. Even if I sing a Tagore song just for my own pleasure, a Bengali song, I learned the word by meaning. Then when I learned the word by word meaning, it's like, oh wow, it's so nice. Then I'm singing and there are 50 people sitting. I feel I can't keep it to myself. I have to let them know also. They should also enjoy the meaning. So I explain in very briefly in English or Tamil or Malayalam or whatever language, just the idea of the meaning, so that when we sing the song, they can connect with that more. So that when the singers themselves don't know the meaning, naturally they will say, Sahitya wala, I don't care about the Sahitya. I will do one Pallavi and sing very fast and sing a very complicated mathematic thing and show off my voice range or whatever. Then it becomes exclusive, no? Because even to their accompaniment, I am trying to do whatever the violinist can't do.
Right. Right.
So then it's always about me, showing off. So for me, it's about not only we know Harikumar and whatever, but we, the listeners, all of us, are, come, let's all enjoy a good time. That we feeling, and many times if I teach, suppose in Hyderabad, for example, I have 2 days teaching session, followed by a concert. For the concert, I will sing some of the songs which I have taught, and get the students to sing along with me sitting in the audience. There must be at least 25-30 videos of this on YouTube, of the audience participation. They are not random audience. They are students who have actually studied the song from me. In fact, in Thiruvananthapuram, I'm planning something like that in November. So it's very exciting. And for the students also, for the sensitive ones who realize the value, it's like, wow, they are singing with Vinu, Harikumar and Karthik also, no? So all of us have... But
Right.
it's then my me feeling will become less and less and less. Suppose I sing alone with Shruti, then it's only me. But if it's Vinu and me, then I am 50%. If
Right.
Kumar, Karthik, Govindra Prasad, then and 100 students also, then my position becomes smaller, and we are all one.
Wow.
No, so that connection comes.
Fantastic. In fact, the English notes, you gave a context to it in one of your concerts, which is there on YouTube as well. I didn't know that it was composed by somebody from down south trying to prove that we can do
Uh,
waltz too. I
it,
thought it was done by somebody from the English clan itself. So that was an eye opener for me.
exactly.
And that is truly helpful for us to appreciate music holistically. And
And the more see, suppose I know only Carnatic music. Okay, it's like cooking. I know South Indian cooking very well, But suppose I know North Indian cooking and Italian cooking and French cooking and Japanese cooking also, then if I want to study Korean cooking, it will become much more easy because I already know all these systems. So Mutayappa, in fact, because you mentioned his name, this is also something which not many people know about. Since you mentioned English note, I want to tell you, Dr. Harikesan Allur Mutaya Bhagavatar, he composed this Western note, and he was my grandmother's music guru, and he was invited to Tiruvidampur Samsthanam by Amma Maharani to organize Swadhitirunal compositions. So some he preserved the original tune, some he put new tune, some he modified a little bit. Then to assist him, many years later, Shamangudu Srinivasayar came. Then Musiri Subramaniar, K.S. Naralaswamy, many people have had a hand in that. But Mutaya Bhagavatar was the first and most important person in that. So Mutaya Bhagavatar, because he was like a member of the family, of course, long before my time. But I used to hear several Mutaya Bhagavatar stories from the Maharaja Chitratirunal and Amma Maharani. So one story they said, which is, I love that story, is that he was traveling by train and he had one disciple or chamcha or one person was there. And this was during British rule. And he would always dress, you would have seen his photos with the crown, and he would look so grand and wear rings on all, diamond rings on all fingers, and very strong Java, the perfume. So from half a kilometer away, you could get the fragrance. It could be overpowering also. So he was this very towering personality sitting in this exotic costume in a train, and two British gentlemen were sitting opposite him, and they tried to ask him something, and he didn't speak English at all except yes and no. So they said something, and he was blank. Then they kind of laughed at him. This Indian guy, he doesn't know English. Like, so then his companion knew English. So he told his companion, you asked them whether they have any book with them. So the companion asked him. They said, we have some books. He said, can you just take one book? It's all in English only, and read one page. So that British guy took his book and just read one page. And Mutaya Bhagavatar heard that, and he just recited that whole thing back to him without.
Oh,
No?
wow.
So this is thing which actually happened, but now if we say it might sound fantastic. It's like, oh, maybe some. The Balamurali Krishna, he passed away very recently. My Veena Guru, K.S. Narayanaswamy sir, has witnessed Balamurali sir give concerts when he was 6 years old. So he says, if you don't believe in God, you see this, you believe something is there. And there are people, Balamurali sir, at age 18, he published a book of 72 Melakarta Raga compositions, published book.
Wow.
In 1942. So I have seen that original book, because of which, and T.S. Parthasarthi, there are so many people who were witness to what he did, because of which somebody asked me, oh, Swadhitirunal, how could he have done so many things before he was 30 years old? Because of what I have seen Balamurali sir do, I can easily believe that. Or what
God
Bruce
is
Lee has done by me. What Bruce Lee has done is on record. So when he started acting in movies, Bruce Lee would just walk forward and 20 people will fall down. So because the way he punched was too fast for the camera to capture. So he
right.
actually had to slow down his punches so that people could see that he was hit. Now it's the other way around. You keep like this and then speed up the camera. So these are people who were during our time.
Right.
So I can completely believe this Mutaya Bhagavatar story, that it is not an exaggeration, because this came from people who knew him intimately and over a period of many years.
Right.
So, like Tyagaraja says, Enduro Mahanupalli, there is so many great people. There's no end to how much we can speak about one of them.
One person.
So, in
Super.
fact, I thank you for bringing out, letting me speak about Vachur sir and Mutaya Bhagavatar at least. You know?
My pleasure, sir. It's been a superb conversation.
Thank you.
Any thoughts? I mean, what is your next year looking like in terms of a music calendar that you may
As
want to
of now,
share with the
nothing.
people? You will
Artist,
take it as you go.
artist life. No, so we look at suddenly, and thing is that it's always like that. When it comes, they all come together at the same time. So we have
Right.
like 7 concerts in 15 days, and then we have 2 months with no concerts at all. So
Right.
we would wish it will be a little more evenly distributed, but
Right.
that doesn't happen. But
Absolute pleasure, Varma ji.
my
Talking
pleasure
to you.
also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing on such a short notice.
No, the timing. This week I have a break.
I
It was very
I
nice.
couldn't have asked for a better Golden Jubilee episode, and I would also want to take this opportunity to thank all my patrons, followers who have been following Half an Hour seasons right from first episode to now 50th. Interviewed a lot of people across diverse set of comedians, theater artists, social entrepreneurs, medical practitioners, people who have made a change or in a pursuit of making change. And I'm so happy that it's going to be crowned with this episode, Varmaji. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.